My name is Greg Hobby, and if you are watching this video, then I am already representing you, and you are my client for a Social Security disability claim and or an appeal. The purpose of this particular video is to explain the choices with regard to the hearing. You will get in the mail what's called a COVID election form. Hearings nowadays are one of four options. One option is called VTC. Second option is in person. The third option is remote by telephone. And the fourth is remote by Microsoft Zoom. VTC is something that existed before COVID. What you do is you travel to a local Social Security office in New Jersey. Usually it is the Egg Harbor office, and sit in a tiny room to do a video conference with a national hearing judge who is in Chicago. Those judges only approve about 25% of the cases. So I strongly advise against doing a hearing by VTC. Unfortunately, if you don't make a choice within 30 days of receiving the form, Social Security will say that you have waived your right to avoid having a VTC. The second choice is an in-person hearing. These hearings were not available during COVID, and prior to COVID, they were the standard way to do a hearing. In-person hearings have advantages if someone has a disability that requires to be seen visually. Unfortunately, most people do not have a disability, for example, a missing limb, missing eye, or some sort of physical disfigurement that can only be ascertained in person as opposed to by video on a remote hearing. The disadvantages with an in-person are it's a long drive to the hearing center. You have to deal with traffic. You have to deal with parking. And then we do not get to sit next to each other in the hearing room. We're separated far across the room in a little plastic box. So as much as I miss talking to the judges about their families and seeing the other lawyers, COVID showed me, based on the numbers, because the approval numbers are really all we care about. And if the approval numbers are higher for a remote hearing, then my recommendation is that's the way to go. Then the third and fourth choices are to do the hearing remotely. I recommend that the client comes to my room, sits in my office, and we can sit next to each other. And if it's video, we will have the judge on the computer screen. If it is by telephone, the judge will be on my cell phone. Ultimately, the choice is yours, but based on my 33 years of experience, the numbers that I've seen in terms of the approval rate, I strongly recommend a remote hearing option. You must let me know as soon as possible so that I can complete the form and send it into the hearing office. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you so that we can win your disability claim.